I do want to do. Okay, let's say a prayer together. So I invite you to take a breath with me. And as you are breathing in, just say in your mind, I am here, breathing in. And then as you breathe out, say in your mind, I am here, breathing out. And let's do that a few times together. In. I recognize that this is a time of great purpose. I thank myself and my heart for bringing me here today. I recognize that I will be pointed toward my own knowing, toward my own wisdom during this time. I am wildly open to receiving. I am open to grace. I call upon and invite the help of the universe, the help of spirit, the help of the whole during this time. You are invited. I am surrounded, enfolded, lifted. Let us begin. So healing and wholeness today is the conversation. And I had this awareness really early on in the week about wholeness, and I'll invite you to look at the two very intentional quotes on the front of your bulletin. The first is, the day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in 1 decade than in all the previous centuries of existence. And that's Nikola Tesla. And then, right underneath that, if you knew who walked beside you on the path that you have chosen, fear would be impossible. A Course in Miracles. I recognized something this week, a new level of understanding, a new level of realization. I am whole. You are whole because you are part of a whole. I am whole. You are whole because we are a part of a whole. I apologize for the wagon wheel type picture. I wanted one with spokes that gave a certain, I'll tell you. All right, here, let me tell you why. Okay, so if you look at the center, right, and imagine each of us as a spoke that emanates from that center. If you imagine each of these spokes as just an emanation of that center, right? Appearing as an individual, right? So here we are. And if you define us by the line, we appear to be separate. Our wholeness appears to be just the line. But if you define us by where we begin, where we meet, you can see that we are whole because we are part of a whole. I like the rim around here too, because I feel like there's a meaning in that. I feel like in the larger circle, that is the space, the consciousness that we can reach out to, the consciousness that we can share. Let me tell you the story. Here's what happened. I have, in the last few weeks, first of all, when I kind of started this journey, one of the ways in which I was really introduced to this path, this conscious path that I'm on, is through Esther Hicks, who some of you might be familiar with, and Abraham. And so very early on, and it was very much an accident, and I've told a lot of you this story, but very early on I just went because I heard about The Secret, and I went in front of the bookstore and I said I'm going to pick out the right book, and I went and it was asked and it was given, but it was CDs, right? And so there were 2 things of CDs, and I didn't realize it, but I started with the second pack instead of the first pack. So I was listening and they were like, oh, this guy Abraham's talking. I'm like, this person is very smart. Everything Abraham said really resonated with me, and I'm like, and the whole time I'm thinking, man, this Abraham, I gotta find out where this person is. Like, I honestly had no idea what it was. And then I got to the front and I began to listen to the beginning of the section where it actually explained that Abraham was a channeled situation through Esther, and I went, what? Because, and here's the thing, it was so purposeful, because if I had read it in reverse, or if I had listened to it in reverse, I would have stopped it right away. Because I would have heard my mom's voice going, Satan, evil. I would have heard all of that, and I would have stopped it, and I wouldn't have gotten the wisdom. But see, by the time I got to the first CDs, which really was, I listened to second, by the time I got there, I was so resonating with Abraham, and everything Abraham said was me remembering something that I was like, oh, I can't unknow this. I can't unknow that this is right? Okay, so right away, early on, I embraced this idea that Nikola Tesla points out, that there is this non-physical energy all around us. And I was like, okay, great, I'm not by myself. Come on, y'all, come on. Let's do this thing together. And I would have these amazing experiences in life where I'd be waiting tables at a bistro, and I would think, I don't think I should. I felt like I was in an altered state. I was so happy. I was so happy because I was open to all of the universe helping me in every possible way. And I think, I better not drive. Like, is this legal? I mean, literally. It was, and I'd opened up to all of it. And somewhere along the way, and I don't know why, I mean, everybody has a journey, right? And we go through different parts and different places in which we begin to grow. And somewhere along the way, I put that down. I put the asking that, non-physical, hey, everybody that's out there, help me, down. And I kept getting, over the last few weeks, I kept getting these messages like, hey, ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for help, right? And so I started asking my dad, who has passed away. I started on Monday really actively, like just saying, Dad, like, help. So it was like over and over again, I was asking Dad for help each day. And by Wednesday, I was just living life, and I was doing the things that I always do. And I just got this inspiration, and I told the kids, I said, put down the devices, I'm gonna put down what I'm doing, let's play Go Fish. And we had fun right before bed, and then I put them in bed, and I begin the prayer. We do the prayer of protection, and we say our thank yous for the day. And I'm sitting there, and I begin the prayer, and all of a sudden, it was literally as if the earth started to shift. I mean, really, something was happening, and I could feel that something was happening, and I didn't know what it was. At first, it felt painful, so tears started to come to my eyes, and then I went, wait a minute, I'm just gonna allow this. I'm just gonna be present. I needed to finish the prayer with my son. I didn't want him to get scared, seeing me cry all of a sudden, and because I wouldn't be able to articulate what was happening. I just could feel that something was happening. I could feel that a shift was happening. And so I got through the prayer. I had a conversation with my youngest son, which I believe was really intentional. And I had these inspirations to ask him 2 very specific questions. And Connor has expressive language difficulties, so he cannot, to figure out Connor, I have to figure out the right question. That's how I get to figure out him. I have to figure out the question to ask, and it has to be a yes or no question, or a 1 or 2 answer question. This or this. I give options. And this question came to me, and I asked the question to my son, and still the earth is moving, and I am shifting, and I feel, and I think I need to go be by myself. I just need to go sit down. And so I do, and I go sit down, and I'm sitting down, and I feel more supported. I don't know a better way to say it. I felt so held. And my first thought was grace, like the givingness of God, right? This is what I'm experiencing. My legs were tingling. It was like a meditation. It was like I get sometimes when I meditate, but I was just awake and alert and alive and living my life. And I recognized right away that this was here because I asked for help. I didn't have to do anything but ask for help, and I asked for it consistently, and I was open to it. And so I got it. Grace, the givingness of God. And as an aside, I have shifted. I am a different person than I was before that happened. I have gotten to a new place. You know how we go through our journeys, right? And we can feel that we're shifting, and it tends to happen like over months, and we're like, I'm shifting, and something's shifting within me, and months go by, and you're thinking, but it was as if, and I kind of feel like what happened is, it began August of last year when I got the shingles on my, right here. I think it was the end of that. Like I feel like it's the shift that started there and took me all the way around to that moment where I asked for help. So, being whole doesn't mean you don't ask for help. Being whole means you call upon the whole. Can you feel that? This is one of my sticking points. This is one of the places I get tripped up all the time because I think, oh no, I'm whole. I'm one with God. All wisdom is within me. I just need to go sit in the room somewhere and I'll figure it all out. That's the tendency. But the recognition is that I am whole because I am part of a whole. And all of that whole is available to me. Asking for help. Asking for help. Why does it not occur to me more often? No person, place, thing, event, or situation can diminish your wholeness, but unforgiveness can keep you from its realization. You can feel that, right? If we go back to the wheel and we understand that we all emanate from the same source and that we're all connected, can you feel that my unforgiveness keeps me from my realization, my experiencing the beauty, the gift that is being a part of that whole? I want to read to you something. Incidentally, Jeff gave this book to me last week because Keith told him that Ellie chewed this one. You know, I have a whole Marianne Williamson library and Ellie chewed this one. I'm looking at Diane because we were just talking about my dog Ellie earlier. Ellie's my dog. Okay, so I got a new one. So I want to read this to you about forgiveness. We don't forgive someone for their sake. We forgive them for the sake of our own peace of mind. Any attack on another person is attack upon ourselves. For in the spiritual universe, there is only one of us here. What I think about anyone else, I am thinking about myself. All of us are joined in the oneness of God's love. Only love is real, and only love has power. Everything else is a mortal illusion. Forgiveness is my salvation from pain. If I believe in the reality of what you did to me, then I will feel as though the consequences of what you did to me are real. I want you to really hear this because this is so key, guys. Listen. Forgiveness is my salvation from pain. If I believe in the reality of what you did to me, so if I believe what you did to me is real, then I will feel as though the consequences of what you did to me are real. By overlooking, I will overcome. The question becomes this: where do I put my faith? Do I put my faith in something loveless that someone did to me, or on the eternal love that lies beyond and corrects all things? That lies beyond and corrects all things. To the extent that I withdraw my attachment to what you did, I will no longer be affected by what you did. Listen to that again. To the extent that I withdraw my attachment to what you did, I will no longer be affected by what you did. I have decided to put my faith elsewhere. That is the miracle of forgiveness. Something loveless might have occurred in my life, and of course I have to process my feelings, but I don't have to indulge them. I need to honor my feelings, but I don't have to spew them. By standing on the spiritual truth that only love is real, I develop the ability to endure the gap in time between the pain of someone having hurt me and the miracle of my release from suffering. In time, as forgiveness becomes a way of life, the gap itself will no longer exist. Can you feel that? My overlooking is my overcoming. I am no longer subject to the result of what you did to me when I overlook it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I literally make it unreal. I make it not real. I affirm love. I am a part of the whole. It is my job to forgive. Okay, next. I think I got that point across pretty well, right? Pretty good? Sure, good. Okay, good. When you get a sign, it doesn't necessarily indicate the answer or the end of the path. It is confirmation you're on the right path. Keep going. I'll read it again. When you get a sign, it doesn't necessarily indicate the answer or the end of the path. It is confirmation that you're on the right path. Keep going. Okay, so I asked for help, right? I asked my dad, and I asked my nephew, I asked people that I knew had passed away, I asked for help. I told you all a story last week about my mother-in-law, and my mother-in-law asked her cousin who had passed, David, for help in helping my husband, her son, find a shop. Were all of you here? So they walk into this shop, and they look up, and they see right away that there are clouds painted all over the ceiling of the shop, right? And Susan begins to cry because she can feel, oh, David's a meteorologist, right? So there it is. They got their sign. Now here's the question. Does the sign mean that that's the shop for Keith? Don't know. Don't know. But it is a sign that he's on the right path. It is a sign that we asked David for help, and David said, okay, I'm there. Here I am. Keep going. What can happen is we ask for help, and we go, oh, and then we get a sign, and then it's very easy to become attached and go, oh, it's the shop then. Remember, there was the clouds. I asked, and there's the clouds, so it must be this shop. And so then I get attached to the idea that the answer is this shop. But that isn't necessarily true. That just means keep going. It means you're on the right path. It means put one foot in front of the other. And Keith has said out loud, my intention is for the highest good. If this is not the place, impede my path. Guess what happened this week? Path impeded. Obstacle. Obstacle that went, nope, now go this way. Did it mean he wasn't supposed to be at that shop? No, yes he was. It's part of the process. It means keep going, right? So the recognition is when you get these signs, when you get these answers, when you get these things from the realm of the non-physical. Because remember, right? I know I say it all the time, but we gotta remember that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It only changes form. And we are energetic bodies just as much as we are physical bodies. So that energy is still around. Remember Nikola Tesla? Remember what he said? And he's a scientist, right? And so the recognition is that if we knew who walked beside us, as the Course said, we would never fear. If we knew how surrounded we were by love, by help, by assistance, because we are part of a whole, then we don't have anything, we never fear. We just ask. We'd ask for and open up to the help. I'm going to tell you one last thing about this. So I told you about my experience on that night and my knowing and just this feeling of just utter support. Just knowing that I was supported and this otherworldly kind of experience and shift. And the very next morning I was in my car and I looked up and there was a license plate and it said, Vietnam, excuse me, thank you. It said Vietnam veteran, and it had a picture of a medal, a picture of a medal that I have in my drawer from my father, who was in Vietnam, who I'd called on and asked for help. And right underneath that medal and the word Vietnam veteran was May, which is my father's last name and my maiden name. And I went, thanks. Did that mean I should follow that car? No. See, early on I thought that's what that meant. Early on when I got that sign, I'd follow the person to the gas station and just kind of wait and see if there was going to be a lottery ticket or something amazing was going to happen, because I would think, oh, but it was just confirmation that I was on the right path. Just keep going. What does just keep going mean? It means keep doing the thing that's in front of you. Be open to the phone call, right?
Yep.
Just do the thing in front of you. You're on the right path. Give me a sign. If this isn't right, impede my path. There is so much help available to us. We are whole because we are part of a whole. Let's pray together. I'm going to invite you to allow my words to be the words of your heart. I am open. I understand that I am whole because I am part of a whole. And right now, I am calling upon the whole of which I am a part. And I am saying, help. Help me in every way. Help me every step, every choice, every emotion, every conversation. I am open to help. I am worthy of this help. I recognize and acknowledge that I am one with the love and the power of the universe. And I call on that oneness, that wholeness. As I leave here today, I know that throughout the week I will be reminded of this moment. When a challenge arises, when I wake up in the morning, I will remember to call upon the whole. I will remember to open up, to take a breath, to ask for help, and then move my feet. And then do the thing that comes before me with all of the presence that I have. Let's take a moment to take a breath and be silent together as we open up and welcome in the experience of our wholeness. I'm open. I'm available. Let us begin. And as you are ready, you can open your eyes.